Hello, everybody. I am Goldilocks. Hold on. I forgot to test my audio, so let's do that real quick. Okay, I think we're good. I think we are good. We are back. I am Goldilocks. Thank you for being here. We are back talking to MAGA again about why they think their king is good. Still, at this point, we have people who actually believe Trump is trying to help Americans. I know that is unbelievable for anybody who is actually sane or has thought about it for 5 minutes, even if they're insane. In any case, we do actually still have people who support him, and we want to talk to them. If you are MAGA, get up in the box. Don't be a coward. We've had too many days where just everybody was a coward, okay? We got plenty of MAGA in the chat. Hop up in the box. If you can't spam the chat with MAGA or Trump 2028 or, whatever, just indicating that you support him, I will gladly invite you myself. If you can't hit the button, whatever the case may be, if you don't feel like you want to actually go through with hitting the button, which is right down here somewhere, it's purple and blue, pink and blue. It's blue and pink, I think. Blue, then pink. Hit that button if you're MAGA, and we'll talk to you about it. I do want to thank Murph underscore 1991 for following on Twitch. Last time I was live, I think it's been a minute again. I've been insanely busy at my job, so I've been worried to get on here because I just haven't had a lot left in my brain after a full day of work. Most of my days have been absolutely full. That said, taking a little bit of time off from this has made my live goals a little bit more achievable. We grew a little too fast last time I started this, and TikTok thought that I was like a top creator, so they were giving me outlandish goals. So now we're back to something reasonable here. So I will start inviting these maggots that are in my chatting. If you have balls, come up and talk to me. I have sent both Jeff Cook and BGoat31 invites to talk to me. If they do not accept, they are outright cowards. The end. Trump, best president in American history. I also know, just for the record, I do know that most of these accounts are actually bots. Not all of them are cowards, but the ones that aren't bots and won't come up are definitely cowards. Stephen Thor, I also sent you an invite. So at this point, we have some legislation pushing forward that would limit the president's ability to push new tariffs. That is gaining bipartisan support. All the Democrats are on board, and at this point, I think 7 Republicans have vocally got on the train for this legislation. That is not quite enough to pass it. I think we need 5 more Republicans to join at this point to be able to pass that legislation, and they very well might get there. I mean, if 7 have joined at this point, as long as the economy continues on its current trend, it won't be too hard to convince them. That is not a very good banner that you can't even see what that says. I'm not gonna lie. People didn't vote for Trump. They voted against the radical extreme Democrats. We didn't have an extreme candidate that was running. So that's a wild take. Tim, how are you doing?
Cranky.
Classic Tim. How old are you?
21.
Nice. And you voted for Trump?
What do you think?
I think
Yes.
I want you to answer. Thank you. Why would you do that?
Because I believe in his views. Simple as that.
Such as, but not limited to?
Getting rid of Kamala, firstly. That's the big thing.
Who?
Kamala.
Kamala?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kamala. Okay. You can also just say Harris moving forward if you can't say her name right. What do you mean? What do you mean getting rid of?
What does she bring to the table to lead to lead America?
A better tax plan.
Such as?
supporting actual Americans instead of kicking us to the curb in favor of billionaires.
How so?
How so? What? Do you want to rephrase the question?
Like, what do you mean tax? Like, say that again.
Yeah, her tax program would have disproportionately benefited lower and middle class Americans, whereas Trump's only benefits upper actual upper class Americans, like millionaires.
That was Trump's idea. She took it. She robbed it.
What was Trump's idea? Which part of her plan?
Wait, she doesn't have a plan.
She had a fully fledged out tax plan that was clearly published on her site. Yeah. It
Her
was
site? What site?
it was part of her 80 something page document that fully laid out her plans on every single issue that we could possibly have to deal with.
Where can I see this? This seems new to me.
Oh, that's amazing. So you weren't paying attention at all during the election cycle, right?
No, I was, but I do want to see this information because
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's actually still posted to her site. I wouldn't doubt it, but I can try to look it up. I looked it up at the time.
yeah, I'm just curious. Like, which site is it? Like, is it in the Gov? Like, what is it?
No, it's like Kamala Harris dot like her actual website. I don't even remember what the actual URL is right offhand. One second. The fact that you would even think about saying that you want this information now is kind of laughable, though, right? Where was
How
that?
so?
Where
It
was
just
that? Where was that energy during the actual election cycle when it would have obviously been widely available?
why can't you give me the site for it if you know the site, right? Or you don't know the site?
It's literally KamalaHarris.com.
KamalaHarris.com.
Yeah. Yes. So do you have any other oh, now you're teacupped looking at it. Do you have any
Yeah,
other reasons that you voted for Trump that might we might find more legitimate than the economic
illegals.
reasons? Nobody's illegal, call them undocumented immigrants.
What do you mean undocumented? It's illegal aliens. The people who came to this country illegally here. You don't know who those people are. It's like me going to your house and you don't know who I
Tim,
am.
real quick, what time is it?
Time?
Yeah.
My time is 3:40.
So you're on the West Coast?
Yes.
What state?
Washington State.
Washington State. Oh, so the immigration problem is real relevant to you, right?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people in Portland and in Salem too.
Yeah. All
Seattle,
right.
sorry, Seattle.
All right.
I love illegal immigrants there. Druggies
Do
too.
you know how much mass deportations are projected to cost?
Cost is irrelevant.
Cost
What
is
cost to
irrelevant.
protect?
So do you
What?
know? Hold on. Yeah, if
All right.
cost is irrelevant, we have to dig into that a little bit. Do you know what the economic impact of undocumented immigrants are on the economy?
Could you repeat that?
By and large, I'll say it a different way because obviously you can't really keep up with these long form questions. On the whole, do you think that undocumented immigrants are more likely to benefit or detract from our economic status?
Decrease.
Okay, so it's been shown that they do the opposite, that they do actually benefit the economy. They pay into taxes. Uh, that's it. They pay into taxes. That's the main thing that you could possibly ask of them.
How do we know they pay our taxes? Do they have social security?
No, they don't.
Then how do you know they pay taxes to
Because
the IRS?
you can easily apply for an ITIN, an individual tax identification number, so that you can pay taxes regardless of your citizenship status.
Gotcha, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Still, you're breaking the law if you come to this country illegally, still. And it's unfair to the people who were waiting for years
Or
to come here.
I get the you're breaking character a little bit. I feel like maybe you're trolling.
No, I'm just saying, it's like I come to your house, right? I'm some rando coming to your house,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Taking your food, right? Living, showering, and everything, right? Would you let a friend inside your home instead of some random guy?
Again, I've had this analogy before. It's absolutely terrible. It doesn't even
How is
work.
it
It
terrible?
doesn't work on a logical level at all.
It
There
is
are
quite logical. If
no,
you don't know that
it
person,
actually isn't.
okay,
How
tell
many
me.
undocumented immigrants do you think there are in America?
I don't know. There's a lot though.
Yeah,
Not as much as
give me
Biden's
an actual
demonstration.
estimate. Give me just
How can
brief
you
top of your
estimate
head
of
estimate.
I don't know because how can you
Okay.
document undocumented illegal
So
aliens?
we do have estimates of this, right? Have you looked into the estimates that the government has provided at all? The estimates that Trump has provided at all? Do you know anything? Do you have any frame of reference for how big this problem is?
I think rough of my mind it was about 3,000 roughly.
3,000 undocumented immigrants in the USA?
Fuck, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I will not say anything about that.
3,000.
I have
Okay,
no. How
let's
can I
go
say anything?
let's go with LJMA SS's estimate of 10 million. That's closer to the truth.
10 million?
Yeah, it's
That
closer to the
shit is
truth.
a lot. We
So,
should kick them out.
do you know how many people live in the U.S.? Actual
Uh,
U.S. citizens. How many
like
U.S.
like
citizens?
40, like 40 million, 400 million, roughly.
Okay, yeah, it was about to be really bad again, but yeah, roughly 350 million. We're not quite
Three
up to
hundred and
400
fifty
yet.
million. There we go.
So if you so what is the percentage of 10 million to 350? What percentage of 350 million is 10 million?
Um, 5%. I'm not too sure.
So what I love teaching a little bit of math because this should be easy.
Thank
350
you.
1% of 350 million is 3.5 million. You just
Oh, I thought
3.5.
percentage wise.
Right, 1% is 3.5. So if we're going for 10 million, that would be about 3 times as much. We can fudge it. So it's about 3%, right? About 3% of the population is undocumented immigrants if we're taking the estimate of 10 million. So when you apply this to a single household, what you're saying is if 3% of the current population of the household showed up, should we give them quarter?
Hell no.
Right, but 3% of my household is 0 people. It's nothing. It's
It's still a problem.
literally, this is a
There's still
drop in the bucket for our entire economy. And they're also an economic benefit, as we have shown.
no, they aren't. Most
They
of them are
literally are.
most of criminals and ripping our benefits off as
Did
well.
you just say
American.
most are criminals?
A lot of them are criminals. Most of them are
Are you
criminals.
saying that because they crossed illegally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Illegal.
Okay, so your take is that because they crossed illegally, they need to be deported, right?
Yeah. There's
Okay,
still a problem.
right.
3 million is a lot of people, a lot of
Sure.
undocumented illegals.
Well, we're taking the estimate of 10 million, not 3.
Oh, 10 million, my bad.
Thank you, Revna, for joining the team. So, man, it's estimated to cost just hundreds of billions of dollars for mass deportations. Hundreds of billions of dollars. I can't remember off the top of my head how many, but the estimates are wide anyway. It's like between 100 and 500 billion depending on what your source is. I think the official estimate, including like the people who made the plan, I think their official estimate is like 150 billion. So, do you think that money could be better spent anywhere else?
Nope. Because money is worthless to protect. Like money is worthless. Like we should put money into protecting our country from these illegal aliens, these criminals who come to our country illegally.
So
There is
silly.
no price of any.
So
We
yeah,
should.
So what I'm getting is that you actually have no background knowledge, and you actually can't even form an argument for this. You're just saying the same thing over and over again. Is that right?
Well, yeah, because they're
Okay,
still
great,
illegal. There's still a problem. There's
great.
still a problem.
So, okay, if anybody's MAGA, I just got to do this real quick, just because we don't have anybody in the box to replace you when eventually we have to get rid of you. If anybody's MAGA, please hop in the box. We do need more people to talk to. Otherwise, this will get a little boring pretty fast, right? I have
I'm
fun
pretty
with this.
bored.
As
He
long
wants to
as we
get,
can keep
illegal
guests
aliens
going,
to,
as
do
long as
shit
we
to
can
children
keep
and women.
guests going. You done? You done interrupting me?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
So,
So
question.
as if there are any MAGA in the chat, please hop in the box. If you cannot hop in the box, just make it clear that you support Trump, and we will gladly invite you up. If you have not followed, do so. If you have followed and you haven't given me the little one heart me gift that you can afterward, do that and join the team.
I got a question. Sorry for interrupting
Yeah,
you.
what's your question?
So, should we keep the people who do shit to women and children? These illegal aliens?
No, violent offenders should be deported. I support that.
Should we put them in prisons?
Well, that could actually help, because at a certain point when you're investigating these people, you could show that they've done even more. And if you don't actually try these people before deporting them, the victims just never receive justice.
All right, that's great.
Right?
Could we avoid all of that if we had like tougher border policies that will not happen to like women and children in the first place?
Why don't we have tougher border policies?
Look at the Biden administration, open
Yeah,
borders.
they were going to pass a bill that would have gone a long way towards solving this problem. Hold on, I gotta let my dog out of my room. One sec.
Oh, good. This guy is insane. Holy Christ.
I
We should let
literally
all
can't
the
hear you right now. My
we should
headphones
let
are
all
all
the immigrants inside that country. That's wild.
wow. All right. Anyway, yeah, so Trump stopped a border bill that would have gone a long way towards solving this, and he stopped it because it's the one issue he was running on. He stopped it selfishly for himself, because if he didn't have that to run on, he definitely would have lost.
A border bill?
Yeah, written by Senator Langford, the Langford border bill. It was the toughest legislation we would have ever had passed when it came to border restrictions.
Why do you need a bill to have border restrictions if you can have an executive order to do so?
Anyway, have a good one. You have no cogent arguments. Good first guess. Good first guess. We're going to move on really quick. We're going to get our next guest up here. If you haven't followed, follow, okay? If you haven't followed, follow. If you haven't joined the team, give me the one heart me gift after you follow and join the team. I want to see that thing light up. I want to see the little heart me above my head to indicate that you love me. I need the attention, all right? That's really what I'm out for. We're going to try to get to the first person that was in here. I think I still know the order of this. We're moving on. Friend, how are you doing?
Amazing. How about you?
Pretty good. Are you Australian?
No, I'm Southern.
Oh, okay. It's just the yeah. You said just enough to where I thought it was an Australian twang. I almost got it. How old are you?
33.
You voted for Trump?
Yep.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that after he's shown himself blatantly to be an enemy of the state and the people living within it?
Oh, easy. I just walked up to the ballot, put his name on the paper, put it in.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question. For what main reasons did you choose to vote for Trump as president after he's shown himself clearly to be an enemy of the state and the people living within it?
He's a patriot. I like him. He's been our president before. And here he is again. We made it happen again.
What evidence do you have that he's a patriot?
Well, I don't know. He's been to boarding school.
He said, I don't know.
He's a
First,
president. Yeah, I
first
said I
thought
don't
was,
know
I
though.
don't know. Great.
Bro doesn't know.
Thank
Bro
you for the
doesn't
hand
know
hearts.
anything.
Yeah, so you have no evidence that he's a patriot. You're just saying that.
You
Do you
asked
have
me for my
any?
evidence, and I told you. And
Your
I gave
your
you
evidence
a,
was, I don't know.
no. You're just putting words in my mouth.
All right. No, you literally said that first. What did you say after
Yeah,
that?
I know, and
I
it's
was a
an
little caught
expression of
up
speech.
by how crazy
It's
it
an
was.
expression of speech. Why don't you think a little deeper on it? It's an expression of speech.
Okay. Do you want to give the other evidence that you had again?
Yeah, he's a patriot. He's been our president
No,
once, and he's
for
doing
being
good
a
things for us.
patriot. The first reason that he's a patriot.
Yeah, he's
What
been to
other
military
evidence?
boarding school. He's been to military boarding school.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, you asked for evidence. I
That's
mean, I would make
literally
you,
not
if you're going to
evidence.
be patriot, and then, what I mean, somebody that goes to military boarding school is
I know
probably going to
kids
get a
who
pretty
hate
good idea of
America that were put
what.
through
That
military boarding
don't
school.
matter. That don't matter. I didn't ask about them. You asked me. I told you.
Yeah, but that's
If you
not
go to
evidence.
military boarding school,
My
you're
point
more than
is,
likely going to come out
no,
being a patriot.
absolutely not. That doesn't make any
Hey,
logical
where's your
sense.
evidence on that? Where's your evidence on that?
I
Your friends, family?
literally know kids who aren't my friends,
you?
but I know
Do you?
them
Give me the
who went
evidence. Give
through
me the names so I
military
can
boarding
call and ask
school.
them.
No, I'm not going
Word,
to give
do
you
you?
anybody's
Yeah.
name who I know.
There
Get
we go.
out of
All
here.
right then. All right, word. Where's that $10?
I'm not going to get you closer to doxing
Where's that
me.
$10? You got it already? You gonna extort TikTok to make money? You know this. You can get sued for this,
yes.
right? You know that, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can. You're extorting. You're looking for insufferable people so you can get a quick $10. That's why you want to get them in and out quick, right?
That's not extortion.
Yeah, I know. All right, let me do something for you real quick.
Not your friend. Hold on. 1 second. Really quick. I just got to do something real quick before you do anything. Because apparently you didn't actually want to talk. Asked you clear, cogent questions and you just wouldn't answer them. What are you, afraid? Are you afraid of actually engaging in a legitimate conversation? How shocking. It's not like that's the usual MO of MAGA. What should I call you? NOK Spot?
Yeah, Knoxpot's good. How you doing, man?
Knoxpot. Well, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm having a great day, although it's a little bit cold where I am, so.
Hell yeah.
But I got the windows open, so that's what matters.
Nice. How old are you?
I'm 27.
And did you vote for Trump?
I did, yes.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that?
So I live in DC and I work in DC, and I care a lot about foreign policy specifically.
Oh.
Quite frankly, domestic policy. I'm an educated guy. I whatever happens domestically, obviously it's going to hurt a little bit or help a little bit, but I'm not going to be directly affected. Super, incredibly at an incredible level, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Like, job market right now, obviously for federal workers in DC, is pretty terrible. A lot of my colleagues have been let go. A lot of my graduating class has suffered from a lack of jobs, like in the federal government, for example, have had to move to contracting work. But that being said, because I have, I live here and I have an education, I can find that contracting work. That's what I mean when I say, the domestic policy, regardless, I'll be able to find a job, hopefully. But the reason why I care about foreign policy is just because that's a topic that I care a lot about, and that's why I voted for him.
Okay, so far we have, I don't give a shit what happens to the U.S. economy or law or anything, because I think I'll be okay. What I voted so therefore what I voted for him for was foreign policy, which he's done a great job about.
Yeah, so to be clear, the reason why I went to the booth and I checked his name, obviously is that's how it's going to directly affect my life. Overall, I think that his policies are going to be better for the American people in the long run, in general. But when you go to the voting booth, obviously you're voting for your interests as well. And I don't think that we should pretend that when people go to the voting booth, that's not what they're doing.
Right. So yeah, part of what I voted for was me being benefited as a middle-class American.
Yeah, sure. And I agree. I mean, that's what I voted for as well, as a middle-class American too.
That's hilarious. What made you think that he would benefit you as a middle-class American?
So, couple things. Number one, ec- talking about economics, and I'll be upfront. I don't agree with like writ large tariffs across the board. I'm more of a free trade, um, Republican, I guess
Yeah,
you could say.
so the thing about tariffs, just real quick, is that large blanket tariffs, fucking stupid. They don't
Yeah,
work.
no, I agree.
That's not a trade negotiation tactic.
Yeah, totally.
And also, one other point, the
Hmm.
way they calculated the tariffs that they should be placing on countries, fucking stupid. They just took trade deficit and divided it by number of imports.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Now the difference being is that I do agree with targeted strategic tariffs, like specifically on countries like China, um, who have practiced dumping measures in the United States, subsidize their own goods and try to sell them here, steal IP, like things like that. And I think
Now,
that
when you
taking
say
this, Mhm,
targeted tariffs, do you
mhm.
mean a targeted tariff would be a tariff on all Chinese imports?
I more mean like per sector, and I understand that
Okay.
Joe Biden
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like tariffs across the board on China, I don't necessarily disagree with either, quite frankly. And that's because of their unfair trade practices that they have been allowed to do through the WTO. Um, and I think that even if it is kind of broader scale against adversary nations, I think that's a good thing, quite frankly.
Fair enough. I could see tariffing China to reduce reliance on their goods overall. I can definitely see the benefit in targeted sector-based tariffs, perhaps on all other countries, just to bring a certain sector of manufacturing back to the US.
Sure.
We definitely cannot do it all at once. There's no way that's going to work out, even in the long term. We're just not going to be able to cover everything.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think literally everybody knows that. I think even this administration knows that.
well, and I agree with you. I mean, technically, the WTO outlines in there. It's either 1979 or 1989. 19. It's one of those years, But they're like, when should you use tariffs? And it's like a 28-page document. I encourage everyone to go and read it. It outlines specific instances in which tariffs should be allowed, and one of those instances is when industry in a particular country is not yet like developed enough to compete against foreign countries. So I think if the argument of the Trump administration is, well, we need semiconductors, we need steel, we need lumber, we need X, Y, and Z. We're going to tariff these countries in order to build up that infant industry. It's approved by the WTO. I get it. I don't necessarily agree with it wholesale, but I could see where that could be their argument at least. Um,
Fair. Do you? I don't think this has answered the question
mhm.
as at least to my liking. Why did you think he would benefit you as a middle class American?
So I mean, frankly, I thought that he would be more laissez-faire than he is currently. I thought that he would be more of a reducing regulations so that obviously 401ks are going to work perform better, and we could naturally and I don't know if naturally is the right word, but naturally develop, I guess you could say, through the private sector. And then I was also, frankly, I was also very happy with his kind of stance against the EU, and the reason being is because I think that they have, targeted our companies in America unfairly, and I also think that they should be pressured to pay more towards NATO. I think that that's super important. I think that a lot of countries have not met their 3% GDP requirement, and it's
Is
not
it three
acceptable.
now? It was two forever.
I'm fairly certain it's three now. Actually, I think it might be. I think I forget his name, but the NATO chief suggested five, if I'm not mistaken. But that's not a requirement. But it should be five. Um,
Yeah, I actually don't think
yeah,
it's a requirement at all. It's
yeah,
just a
but
suggestion.
sure. But like for instance, like in the EU, where they required Apple to use USB-C. And I get, like, it's a stupid example, I get it, but like when you think about it, you're going to have a block of nations requiring a cell phone company from the United States to change their chargers to be USB-C, or else face like trillions of dollars in fines.
I mean, actually, yes, please.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because you
Why?
can't, because you're forcing people to use your ecosystem when they dip one toe in. People can't just try your products. They have to get the other ones, right? It's an antitrust case.
I don't see how USB-C.
It's not a forcing your hand to do something case. It's an antitrust case that they lost.
I don't necessarily agree, because number one, it's completely up to you whether or not you opt into the Apple ecosystem. You know, you can always return the product if you don't like it. You have 2 weeks.
Right, but just this is the easiest change to make. This is not telling them to do something difficult. This is saying make your future stuff with a standard that literally everybody else uses. Right?
Okay.
Because otherwise I have to get a charger from Apple. I have to.
That comes
if
with your
I
device.
get an Apple phone, I have to get a charger from Apple if I have to replace my charger, is what I'm saying.
Well, that comes with your devices, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but if I have to replace my charger, I absolutely have to get one from Apple.
Well, you can go on Amazon and buy the same exact protocol. Like $3-4. Right? I mean, am I saying something incorrect? You don't have to go to Apple and buy the $20 like Lightning adapter. You can go to Amazon and buy the $3 one.
Yeah, there's all I'm saying is there's a reason they lost. It was a very legitimate antitrust case. They were forcing people to buy into the ecosystem. This was a good case. I don't think this has much footing.
So I mean, fair enough. That's your opinion. I think that it stifles development, though, because now it's by law it has to be USB-C. So what if in 2 years Apple was who they don't innovate as much as the other companies. They tailor and perfect the stuff that other companies have made. But what if they come out with something better than USB-C? Now the entire EU has to change a law to allow for that. And what, like, do you think it's fair that Apple was fined billions of dollars or whatever it was?
Yes, I have literally. You're not going to get me with empathy for Apple. That's
really.
I don't care how much money they were fined. Not going to be empathetic for a corporation. Corporations don't have fucking feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, but I think it's
You disagree that corporations don't have feelings?
No, I disagree that the EU should be fining Apple, an American company, billions of dollars because I think it's extortion.
EU.
I'm sorry.
Apple exists in the EU. They have
European
offices.
Of course they do.
So, but the EU has to have a vested interest in making sure that they operate under the norms that they decide should be for their union.
And you think a government made up of, I mean, because EU, I mean, obviously not a government, but authoritative body made up of maybe 50 people, 100 people, and their staffers should just dictate, okay, the entire EU and everybody in it has to use USB-C now. That's like, you don't think that's a little bit more like state control over private industry than you would like to see?
Not really. I don't really care. I can use. I really don't see. This isn't a great example. I think you could have found better examples for this particular argument.
Sure. I mean, but to be fair, Apple's just the one that I know particularly. So, but yeah, so that's why I voted for Trump. And obviously it's not because of Apple, but the Apple is the example of the broader issue of the EU taking advantage of American companies by fining them, and trying to make American companies, fit the whim of the EU, and in my view, unnecessarily. And same thing with NATO. I think that the NATO countries should be required to pay more. I don't believe that we should pull out of NATO, of course, but I think it's important for everybody to pay their GDP, percentage of GDP.
Pay it how?
Well, you allocate funds to defense spending, of course.
Okay. So, okay, at least you know how NATO works.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean,
Most people, well, no, it's not, of course. Most people that come up here literally don't understand how it works.
well, yeah, well, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I've heard some pretty disgusting things on here as well. Not on your live, but yeah, NATO works. Each country
Puts a
dedicate
certain percentage of their GDP
Right.
into their own military
Correct.
spending allocation.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody should know that if they want to come up and talk about it. But I can't control that, unfortunately. But do you agree that that's important, at least?
That everybody allocates the recommended allowance to their military spending to be a member of NATO?
I wouldn't even say it's recommended. I would say it's quote unquote required. It's required by signing and adhering to the documentations that you sign on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I literally can't see it cited as an actual requirement. But yeah, sure. I think that that's important, and I don't think it's that much to ask.
Fair enough.
But I really think we're not on topic at all. Do you think that there are any ways that Trump so far has benefited you?
Has Bennett? Sorry, I'm getting run off the hook by a friend here.
That's
can
fine.
you
I
repeat the
have other
question?
people in the box if you do have to go.
If he calls to one more time, I'll answer. But do
Okay.
you mind repeating your question?
Can you cite any ways that Donald Trump so far in this term has benefited you personally?
Personally, no. Personally, no. But at the same time, like through President Biden's administration, I can't say that he benefited me personally either. Frankly, maybe you can go into tax law and stuff like that. I agreed with the tax cuts that President Trump did in his first term. I think that was a good thing. I think real income. Well, I know that real income increased for the middle class by an average of, I think it was $4,300 from 2018 to 2019.
Yeah, there is one graph that shows that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's from the Census Bureau, so I mean, it's a reputable source, no?
Sure.
So I mean, I think that's important. I think that's a good thing. And like I said, I don't agree with blanket tariffs like he's doing, but I think
No,
general.
here's the thing.
Sure.
You're too soft. I got to move on.
you want to argue? I hear you.
It's been a legitimate conversation. I do enjoy that. I enjoy having people who are actually trying to be rational on these things every once in a while. But I do have to move on to hopefully get somebody more inflammatory so that I can build some more viewers.
Hey, I hear you. I hear you completely. Have a great rest of your night, okay?
Love you, and I will definitely have you back. Have a good one. All right, we're going to get the next guest up here. If you haven't followed, do so. If you haven't given me the little heart me gift to join the team afterward, do that as well. Look, here's the thing. Most of why I do this is for fun. Legitimately. I do this for fun. I could have done the social things with him. I didn't, because he seemed to actually have legitimate things to say economically, so I wanted to let him say them. I learn things. Maybe he learns things. I like that sometimes. But I do this for fun. I like to have fun. I like to get heated. I think overall a lot of us like that. I think that's kind of why we're here. Oh, you didn't want to. They just jumped. What happened? All right, we got one more person in the box. If you are MAGA, hop up in the box. I want to talk to you. We're probably going to get through this guy pretty quick, I think. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, hop in the box. Unless you're a coward. I don't know. The Protestant. Not just a one of them, but the one. How are you doing?
Well, and you?
Pretty good. How old are you?
I am 33.
And did you vote for Trump?
You best believe it.
I best believe it. How on earth could you bring yourself to do that after he's shown himself to be an enemy of the state?
So I would ask, how did he present himself as an enemy of the state?
He tried to pull a coup.
Ooh.
Yep.
I don't know about that. You're going to have to bring up some receipts saying that he did.
So there was a case in which he didn't say he didn't do it. That wasn't his defense. He did not say he didn't.
Is that what you're going with?
Do you actually know what the case is about? Do you?
Yeah, J6. I mean, if you're going to talk about J6, let's talk about J6. Okay. As a matter of fact,
Do you actually
remember
know what the case is about? Because it's not about that one day.
well, I mean, if you're just talking about J6, it's just specifically, if that's what we're referring to, talk about the quote unquote coup. Yes, that's what we are, that's what we're talking
That's
about.
not what the case is about, though, right? The case is about what led up to that specific event, right? What else he was trying to do that ended up causing that event. Do you know anything
Oh,
about it?
well, yeah, if you're going to talk about stop the steal,
The false
uh,
elector scheme?
well, there's nothing
Are you
in
intentionally
concrete.
avoiding it? Because I feel like you do know about this.
Well, there's nothing concrete about that. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, there's nothing concrete about it because,
Okay,
obviously so, or
sure,
because let's use common sense here. Okay. So
sure.
nothing happened. So nothing happened, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so
So
what did
therefore
Pence do
that
that day?
destroys your logic.
What did Pence do that day?
What did Pence do? Well, we got to be more specific. What he didn't do was, um,
What did he do that day? I don't have to be more specific. What did he do?
well, I don't know. I'm not his personal secretary,
He
so I'm not quite
certified
sure.
the election results.
Okay,
That was his
that's fine.
job,
That's
right?
okay. Okay, so it's kind
So
of
he
okay.
did
So
his
what I'm trying to
job,
say
right?
is, what I'm trying to say is
He did
this.
his
All right.
job, right?
Well, hold on. You're asking me a question. I'm trying to answer it, sir.
Yeah,
So
I'm
what?
asking you one right now. He did his job, right?
Well, obviously, so we had
What
4
would he
years.
have done if he would have certified the false electors?
Well, obviously, it would have kicked it back down to the states to where a recount would have happened. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I
What
don't
are
know
you
why your
talking
ignorance is
about?
coming up.
What?
Yes. Do you know how
No,
elections
look.
work?
So
Do you know how elections work?
do you think he should have
Do you know
certified the
how
false
elections
electors?
work? Yes or no? Do you know how elections work? Yes or no?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so who approves the election? The vice president,
Do
right?
you think it would
So
have
if
been
there's any
good?
abnormalities, sir, if there's any abnormalities,
Protestant, take it
guess what
easy. Take it
happens?
easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, Jesus,
Calm down.
bro, you
Calm
are a
down.
flake, bro. You are a
Calm
flake.
down, Protestant. You got to take it easy. If you want to be on here, you got to take it easy. You can't try to steamroll. Okay? That's how it's going to be. We're here partially. Let me explain this real quick. We're here partially to make sure that you don't feel centered up here, right? We don't want you to feel centered. You're not in your space here. This doesn't exist for you, right?
Cool. Yeah.
So take
Okay.
it
So
easy.
we could. I'm calm. You are not answering the question. You're not answering. Literally not. You're avoiding it and you're dodging the question.
No, I didn't hear your question.
Of course you didn't. Okay. So
What do you mean?
the
Of course
vice
I didn't.
president
What do you mean?
certifies the
What do you
election.
mean?
Well, because you obviously are going over your elbow to get your asshole, my dude. You're avoiding the question at hand.
Is that even a saying?
Yes. If you
Where are
go
you
over
from?
your elbow, well, it's irrelevant from where I'm from.
I
So
mean,
the point is,
I've never heard that before. I think it's relevant where you're from then.
well, it's irrelevant where I'm from. Okay.
It's
If you really want to know,
obviously a colloquialism.
I'm from El Paso, Texas. So
All right,
yeah,
fair enough.
it's okay. So here's
That
the issue.
being a
So here's the
Texan
issue. Okay.
phrase makes sense.
Sure. So yeah. So here's the ordeal. The vice president certifies the election. In the event that there's any abnormalities that are taking place, it gets kicked back to the states. Correct. That's what I'm referring to. Since there was no quote unquote abnormalities, guess what happened?
Abnormalities is the word.
Well, that's what I literally just said.
No, you said abnormalities. You missed the I.
Sure, whatever.
I'm helping you out, bud.
I mean, okay, yeah, it's anecdotal at this point. So the point is we know Biden won the election. We know that, right? Right. So if you want to talk about a coup, you better as well talk about trying to imprison the leader of the Republican Party.
No,
trying to go on. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely silly. So what you're saying is if there were abnormalities in the certified election results, then there would have been recounts, right?
Yes, we can look at Bush and Gore for that.
Okay.
We can look at that.
But there
example.
were no abnormalities in the election results?
Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's a rhetorical question. And the reason why that is
No, it's
because
not. Answer it.
Was there okay? So was
You
there a
said it
recount?
earlier.
Was there a recount?
Were
Was there a
there
recount?
abnormalities? Are you going back on
Was
there
there a
not being
recount?
any?
Was there a recount?
Were there abnormalities?
Answer the question. Was there a recount?
I think I asked my question first.
I think we're going in circles here. Okay.
Yeah, because
Obviously,
you're not
Biden
answering
won the
my
election.
question. You're
I literally
ignoring my.
did.
You're dodging my question
Biden won the election, my dude.
with no abnormalities.
Well, I mean, there was some sort of minor disputes
There
within
were
inside the local.
disputes over
Yeah,
what?
election fraud. But they said that there was
No,
not
over
enough evidence.
popular vote counts for the swing states.
We're not talking about the swing states. We're talking about across the board.
Right, but that's what the recounts were for.
There was no
Popular
recounts, though.
vote counts in individual states.
There was no recounts.
There absolutely were recounts. There were several
No,
recounts.
there wasn't.
Yes, Trump kept going on and on about the numbers, called actual governors trying to find more votes.
No,
There-
that's not what
these
he
cases
called
were
one
taken
state.
to court
He called
63 different
He called
times.
Georgia, dude. He
But
called Georgia.
the numbers were taken to courts 63 different times
Sure.
in
I agree with that.
63 cases. Right?
I agree with that.
How
I
many
agree
of
with
those
that.
were Republican judges?
I mean, specifically, I don't know.
34. How many were Trump appointed judges?
Where's your number? Where's your number coming from?
How
Where's
many
that
were
number coming
Trump?
from? Answer the question. Where's that number
Bud,
coming from?
I've been doing this for months. I literally don't know what
That's
to tell
right.
you at
Okay.
this point.
Okay.
I would have
I'm
known
sorry.
when I 1st looked it up.
Then it's
Sorry.
complete bullshit. Then it's complete bullshit.
Okay,
Bottom line.
then you look it up and find me a better number.
Well, I don't have to look it up because it's irrelevant. That's
Okay,
just
so
ancient history.
but you do know there were 63 cases. Because you
Well, I'm
agreed
sure-
with that immediately.
Well, and the reason why I agreed with it, is because obviously it was said that there was evidence.
Bud, you're not
There
very
was
good at this.
evidence. No, you're not very good at this.
All
There
right,
was
so
substantial evidence.
No,
Hold on,
absolutely not.
You're
there was
interrupting, my dude.
no. The outcome of
Yes, there was.
every single one of these cases was that there was insufficient evidence to suggest.
No, they said there was.
Absolutely every single
You're
case.
dodging, dude. You're dodging.
I'm not dodging. You're about to
literally
spew
are.
misinformation. What are you going to say?
Oh, well, yeah. They said that there was not enough substantial to overturn the election.
Yes.
That's what the judges said.
Yeah.
So that's not spreading misinformation.
No. What?
You literally just said
That's
that I
not
was
what you
spreading
were going to
misinformation.
say. You were saying
It's
they
literally
did
what I was going
find.
to say.
You were saying they did find. So what did they find?
Well, there was not enough to overturn the
No.
election.
What
so
were you
obviously
going
there
to
was
say
election.
they did find? Because that's what I was interrupting.
They found something going on, whatever that something is. Not quite sure because it has not come out yet.
Okay,
as of yet,
so
something to say.
you don't know. Cases are done. They didn't find sufficient evidence to overturn the election in any one of the
Obviously
states
so.
tackling these with cases.
Obviously
so.
so.
There were no.
I didn't say there was.
So
widespread.
there were no abnormalities found.
Well, according to
63
2000
different
no,
court
hold on,
cases
hold
that
on,
were
hold on.
evenly split between Democratic and Republican judges. A good
According-
portion of those were Trump-appointed judges.
Okay, again, I mean, just because they are Trump appointed doesn't mean they are agree with his
Exactly.
whole
That's the
administration.
point.
I mean, I'm not understanding your argument here. I'm really trying to grasp a hold of
That
what you're trying to say.
63 goddamn different judges decided there was not even close to sufficient evidence to point to the possibility that the election was overturned by voter fraud. Right? So what was Trump doing trying to fly in extra electoral votes for 7 different swing states? What was he doing?
Okay, yeah.
What was the purpose?
The only state that I'm going to refer, because you brought it up clearly in regards to the phone call and to Rasenberger. So the point is that's in the state of Georgia.
Yep.
So so if we're going to look at can we agree, before I even say this, can we agree that your phone is literally a tracking device? Can we agree to that? Yes or no?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So using that same technology, for example, Dinesh D'Souza. Now, I don't take everything that he says for, I just don't look at it that way. However, he brought a very revealing case in regards to his documentary in 2000 Mules, because he's using the same technology as the FBI and the CIA in a local police department, right? He tracked in that documentary of widespread voter fraud, ballot harvesting. That's clearly what it was. Now, is it true? I have no idea because the evidence is there. But is it true? I have no idea. He prints a very good case in
The
regards to what
evidence
took
is there.
place.
Is it true? I don't know, but the evidence is there.
Well, no.
That's
What I'm
wild,
saying is,
dude.
well, no.
Absolutely wild.
He's using video evidence to support his claim. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm
sure.
saying is go watch the movie and find out, my dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Trump is not a patriot, of course we need to break down this
I
term.
actually am not claiming that with my prompt, but go
Okay,
off on it. Sure.
okay. So, well, it's kind of a, I guess you could say saying that I'm not a patriot because I voted for Trump.
Yeah, that is what I'm claiming. Yes.
Okay, so the definition of a patriot, or patriotism, should I say, is the quality of a patriot, devotion and vigorous support of one's country. So if I support a candidate that you do not like, that means I'm the terrorist. Is that, am I understand that correctly?
One, don't say that word again.
Are you triggered over a little word of domestic
No,
terrorist?
I don't. You did it again. Now you're being kicked. I could get banned for that.
You are a bitch, dude.
That's the explanation. I could get banned, so you're not allowed to say a word. If I say you're not allowed to say a word, I will kick you the next time you say it. That's a clear and obvious rule. If you want to have a conversation, you have to abide by certain rules, or I will be off of here. So I can't afford to let you have that particular set of free speech, right? There is a certain amount of words, specific words, that we cannot say, especially now that the app has been brought back by Trump. What a bastion of free speech this is. How about just take me seriously when I give you a clearly defined rule, right? That's it. Very simple. If you haven't followed, do so. If you haven't given me the one heart me gift that you can do in the same spot after you follow, do so. Join the team. I would be glad to have you. Is that Geo or Glow? I can't tell.
Geo.
Geo, how
I'm
you
not
doing?
good. I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing, given the little Trumpies what they're asking for, because they do the same shit and they never call up anyone, but you do. I'm glad.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, have a good one.
Great to have your support. Good to have you. Thank you so much, Gio. We officially don't have any more MAGA in the box, so I'm going to start inviting people. I'm going to invite a few of you. Accept or you're a coward. The end. That's it. That's your ultimatum. Junk Crusaders, I invited you. If you don't accept, you're a coward. Trump has banned a whole list of words. That is true. That is what we're trying to say here. There are a couple things. Actually, a guest in my live has violated the civic and election integrity policy. Somebody got a civics and voter election flag. That's the last guy that was on here. He was making some false claims, so we got to be careful about that, guys. Come on, MAGA. Just say the truth. It's not much that we ask. It's really not. Biden didn't ban a long list of words. That's including words like woman or advocate. It's true. Yeah, I mean, the list that the Trump administration has banned from official communication is wild. Literally wild. Junk Crusaders, I invited you a long time ago. I'm going to invite you one more time, but it looks like you're a coward. That's why he stepped down for Kamala. Trump is also ridiculously ancient. They were both. Yeah, they're both ancient, yeah. Ty again. Ty, how you doing?
I'm okay. I have a quick question about
Hold on,
something.
how old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah? And you
So
voted,
my
and you voted for Trump?
this year, this election cycle, no.
Oh, why not? Do you support him? Or do you not still
Yes.
support him? You can't say you support him if you didn't vote for him.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
How?
That's the basest level of support. If you didn't do that, you're not a Trump supporter.
I don't believe voting will
That's literally the lowest bar he could possibly ask for.
I support him 100%. I did not vote
No,
for
you
him.
don't.
Yes, I do.
You're not even a Trump supporter. Why are you up here?
I am a Trump supporter. I support Trump.
No, you don't.
Why do you have to vote for someone to support them?
Why do you have to vote for somebody who's running for president in order to claim that you support them? Is that really your question?
I can support a basketball team. Am I voting for anything?
They don't require your vote to do what they do?
Oh, but you can still support them, right?
Yes, because they don't require votes for their position.
And so
right?
a
But
vote
you,
is
as a
required for
voter, as a registered voter, that's a question. Are you a registered voter?
no. I'm 25, but I'm not registered.
That's possible, right?
I know that's possible, but I'm not registered.
You're actually literally just not a registered voter?
Yes.
That's wild. Okay.
But I do support him.
You're not a registered voter, but you're willing to get up on political lives and support Trump, who you didn't vote for because you're not a registered voter.
I would have voted for him.
You don't care about American politics enough to register to vote.
I live in America. I live in California.
You don't care enough to register to vote.
Why does a vote matter?
Oh, man.
I understand what a vote does, but why
can
you not support?
Do you know how representatives are elected?
Yes.
Yeah, how?
I'm
sorry, chat. This one's almost sad. I might start crying.
Every 4 years, there's a presidential election. Every 2 years, there are midterm elections for the House, for the Senate. There's
this isn't answering the question. How are representatives elected?
You vote in your state, and a certain number of representatives are gathered from each state and go to vote on your behalf.
Using what? How do they know how to vote?
Because how do they know how to vote? What?
How do they know which way they should vote?
Technically, because of the, what is it called?
Yeah, what is it called?
The majority of what the representative has, you either know which
the electorate.
Yes.
Okay, so the electoral votes generally follow the will of the electorate of the state, right?
But it doesn't always have to.
Right. So we have a concept called faithless electors, right, where the electoral votes can literally just go wherever they think is actually best. Yes. Which is, why do we have that? Out of curiosity, do you know?
Because maybe they believe is what is best for their vote and what they believe is best for the area of the country.
So we have that. It was originally instated as a way to another system of checks and balances to prevent a dictator from taking over, right? The cult of personality, somebody who can easily convince people and sway them to do their bidding, even though they would be voting against their best interests. That's the only reason that we have faithless electors as a system, right? Have those faithless electors acted in that way any time recently, in any recent elections?
But to actually answer your question, I did vote for Trump, and I voted for Trump when he ran against Joe Biden. I was not able to vote for Trump the first time because I was in high school. I did vote for him.
Bud, what is going on here? What are we doing?
The question I wanted to ask.
No, well, hold on. Now, did you just lie the first time? What are we doing?
Yes.
What are we doing here?
I did lie.
Okay, so you're just saying this so that we can continue the conversation in the way you want to, right?
So the question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Why is it okay to deprive someone of a future value?
Wow, great question.
Do you have an answer to that?
So you're anti-abortion, right? That's the purpose of this question?
Maybe,
Are you
possibly.
Christian?
I'm not Christian at all.
You're not Christian at all?
Negative.
Do you know who would say that?
Who would say it?
A Christian trying to make me believe they're a Christian who has already lied openly on the live.
I don't go to church. I don't believe in a God.
you're 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 a pro-natalist atheist?
I am pro-life, but I am not Christian.
Yeah, let's call it pro-natalism. You're not pro-life.
I am pro-life.
Okay, so you support universal healthcare?
Yes.
Okay, well that's good. At least you support that. You support government-funded housing for all?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. You support universal basic income?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. Maybe you are pro-life. Maybe we can go forward with that assumption, even though we already understand that you're a liar and you'll just say anything to make the conversation go your way for a little bit.
I just thought it was somewhat amusing.
What was somewhat amusing?
Kind of tickle your brain a little bit, make you a little upset.
It didn't.
You were somewhat agitated, right?
When you revealed yourself to have been lying?
Were you agitated that I was lying to you?
Is that when you think I was agitated? When you revealed yourself to have been lying?
Yes.
No, I wasn't agitated, frankly. I
So what were you?
Pathetic. I was disappointed.
Disappointed? I'm never disappointed.
Well,
maybe you should stop feeling emotions.
Okay, are you just trolling?
No, I'm actually pro-life. I don't believe a single abortion should ever happen in this world.
You're not tracking this well, are you? I'm asking you if you're trolling because you said maybe you should stop feeling emotions. Are you a psychopath?
I don't ever feel emotions ever.
So you're a psychopath.
If that's what you want to call me, then yes.
That's
am I a good person?
Definition of a psychopath.
Am I going to be nice to people?
Yes. You realize that is the definition of psychopathy.
Yes, but am I a good person?
Yes.
Am I going to be nice to people?
I do realize that's the definition, but if you want to call me that, then yeah, sure. What?
But I am pro-life, and I do believe.
If any MAGA are in the chat that can actually hold a legitimate conversation,
how can I not hold a conversation? I've answered everything.
Sorry, what, Ty?
I've answered everything. How can I not hold a conversation?
Yeah, we can't prove that you have answered anything with your actual thoughts because, one, you say you hold no emotions, so you're not bound to by any sense of the word bound. And two, you could just be lying about all of it. So what point is even there in talking to you? What point is there to have a conversation with somebody like that?
That I do believe in universal health care. I do believe in...
We don't know that to be true, even if you say it, right? You've already said you're a liar.
How would I not?
What?
So someone who's never voted before...
literally, I know we're getting meta here, but literally, once you have shown that
you think I'm uneducated? You think I don't know anything?
Once you've shown that you've been lying for a solid 3 to 5 minutes, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we actually doing here?
Anything? Do you think I don't know anything?
Are you just... what are you doing now? Like, actually, what are you doing?
I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
No, you're not.
Actually, I am.
What is asking, do you think I'm uneducated? Do you think I don't know anything? What is that? What are you doing?
That's what you're assuming.
What are you... I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking you what you're doing.
You?
What is this? Chat, what is happening?
Do you think I'm illiterate?
What is this?
Do you think I don't know how to read?
No, I think you
probably know how to read better than you do.
I think you got up here because of the prompt, so I do think you know how to read. Right?
Probably know how to read better than you. I've probably read more than you too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't read much now. I did read a lot when I was in school, but I don't read much anymore.
You probably need to. You would probably become a Trump supporter after.
No, I read enough about politics to know that I will never become a Trump supporter because he
And you
does terrible things all the time.
and you support people who want to live,
His policy is absolutely garbage.
and you support people who want
He's
to live
done
babies for no
done
reason.
precisely one good thing during this term, and I bet you can't tell me what I would think that is.
Gave abortion back to the states.
No, that wasn't
Yes.
even.
That was one of the greatest things that ever happened in my generation.
That wasn't even done during this term.
I understand. Oh, so we're gonna thank Joe Biden for it? I thank Joe Biden for it.
No, one, Trump didn't do it. Two, it was his Supreme Court that he was able to build out because he whined about
So
not
who
being
did
able.
it?
Because he whined about. Did I not just answer that question? Did I
don't
not
think you
just
did.
say that?
So we should thank Joe Biden for it, right?
Did I literally not just say who did it?
You said that.
Am I losing my mind? Like,
I
literally just said who did it, right?
You said
who
that
did
Donald
I say
Trump
did
put
that?
the Supreme Court justices on there. You did not say the president who did it.
No, it's not. Neither president did that.
So who? So are
the
you going to?
The Supreme Court did that.
And who
What do
was
you
the
mean?
president?
Who did that?
And who was the president?
It doesn't matter. It wasn't up to them.
He could have. Joe Biden could have swayed him enough to
No,
get
he
them not to
couldn't
do
have.
that.
No,
There's a
he
possibility.
absolutely
You don't know
no. He couldn't have. Presidential opinion cannot sway Supreme Court decisions. It
You don't
can't.
believe-
It literally cannot.
Do you not believe
That
Clarence
is
Thomas
the no. Hold on. Shut up. That is the silliest thing I've heard anybody on here say about how the Supreme Court works.
Do you
the
believe
president could
Clarence
have
Thomas's
swayed.
opinion has ever been swayed by money?
The president could have swayed the Supreme Court in that particular decision. No, that's not how it works. The Supreme Court
money?
is completely fucking autonomous.
Do you believe that money could have swayed anyone's opinion on that court?
Do you think that the president should have bribed Supreme Court justices? Is that what you're advocating for?
No, I think he should have advocated for what he wanted.
It doesn't matter. Presidential opinion doesn't factor into Supreme Court decisions. It can't.
Their opinion does matter. It is literally an opinion that
not
they give.
To the Supreme Court. It can't.
Do they not give an opinion
for
on
a good reason? It can't.
So it has never happened.
So
are you going to say that?
What are you fucking talking about? You actually don't know how the Supreme Court is supposed to work. Do you know how the Supreme Court's supposed to work?
So are you going to say that judges have never been bribed by anyone?
No.
So why do you guys whine about Clarence Thomas being bribed all the time, going on jet? So if I look it up,
what are you talking about?
Clarence Thomas has never been bribed.
Me. Who are you talking about when you say you guys whine all the time about Clarence Thomas being bribed? I'm not a liberal.
Liberals.
Wrong. Not a liberal.
People who voted for Kamala Harris.
Kamala. And
yeah,
that's me, but you think that all of us... I don't complain about that. I've never heard about that as a possibility,
that
and
never happens.
I really don't care because Clarence Thomas isn't a good
great
justice.
Person. He's one of the most amazing justices.
He's absolutely not good at his job.
Why? Explain it. But you can't.
I could, but you're really not worth it, dude.
Explain it. Let's see if it tracks.
Let's see if it tracks.
You are okay.
Let me just say this.
You believe in human rights, but then you want to unalive babies.
Ty, shut up. You're really boring.
Don't tell me to shut up.
You're really boring, Ty.
You're a small kid.
You're so strange, right? You're such a sad, strange little person.
I'm more happy than you. I get to do whatever I want.
How many times have you lied in this live? Have you been counting?
I mean, you can say I've never lied.
You can say I don't lie.
You can say I've never lied.
I could say that?
You could.
I literally couldn't say that. Then I would be lying.
The world is possible. There's nothing that is impossible.
The world is possible. I love that. That's my new quote of the day. The world is possible.
Nothing in this world is impossible. There's always the possibility for anything. Is there
Okay,
not?
Ty. All right. Ah, great job.
Well, nice conversation.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Wow, Ty. Oh man, dude, that was brain rot. Absolute brain rot. I'm legitimately sad for the state of our country. At least Ty's not a registered voter. That's the good news. That's actually the good news. But that was terrible. And yes, I encourage everybody to look at his profile. Actually. But I'm gonna start inviting people again. If you're MAGA and your invites are off, you're a coward. If you're MAGA and you don't accept my invite when I invite you, you're a coward. If you haven't followed, do that. If you haven't sent me the 1 coin heart me gift to join the team after that, do that as well. It's in the same spot. I'll give you a hand heart for doing it, because I love you. You aren't a patriot if you didn't. Murmur. Join. Come up. I just invited you. You have a request up at the top of your screen. Just hit the OK button, and I will talk to you about it. Yeah, I know. I've talked to Ty a few times. It's wild. Stop spreading your lies. It will send you where you don't want to go. Okay. Poppy, I just invited you. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I assume is Christianity from your viewpoint. We know Trump is working for billionaires. We know Musk bought Trump. Exactly. Who else can we invite? If you're MAGA, actually come up. Actually spam MAGA in the chat. Do whatever you got to do. If you're not MAGA, send some comments. I need some comments for a goal. It helps us get out there more. Also, share the live. It's down there somewhere, that little arrow. Hit that. Then send it to like the first 5 people in your list. Who cares? Some of them will join. It's crazy how all these Trump haters look the same. I actually look almost nothing like any of the other live creators that I watch. I look pretty different to all of them, actually. Wild, though. Wild take. Yeah, so at this point, the good news is, right at this moment, the very best news we have is that legislation is actually gaining bipartisan support to limit presidential power to create new tariffs. So hopefully we get 5 more Republicans, 5 more Republicans with integrity on board with that so that we can actually pass something. Because Lord knows we need something with bipartisan support right now. If you're MAGA, come up. I'm telling you, we need you, all right? I hate to say it, but I need you to make this work. I want to hear what you have to say. LOL, I could, but you're not worth his. LOLOL. I love that. I love how incorrect most of these comments are. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Trump picking justices didn't matter. It did matter. That was Trump's Supreme Court that did the thing that undid Roe. So it matters. It's just Trump didn't do it, right? You can't say Trump did it. That's just factually incorrect. That last guy cooked you. Kochi, if you think Ty cooked me, bud, you're already cooked if you think that. You're literally already cooked. Kochi, actually, I'll invite you. It's been a long time. Come on up. It's been a long time. Remember when you said that middle and lower class Americans should starve? Oh, good times. Kochi, how's it going?
Good. How are you? You got mad.
Pretty good. How old are you?
I'm 50.
And you voted for Trump?
Of course.
How on earth could you bring yourself to do that after he's shown himself to be a clear enemy of the state?
How's he an enemy of the state?
Do you want to answer the question, or do you want to just ask counter questions?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, so how can I answer it?
Oh, do you want me to rephrase the question so that your sensibilities aren't affected?
I guess. Yeah, make it
Okay.
so I understand it, or answer my
How could
clarifying
you bring
question.
yourself to vote for Trump? Just remove a clause from it. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I think he's really good for America.
Oh, great reasoning.
Thank you. I mean, specifically for business, specifically for the American worker, specifically, hopefully, I'll say. I won't say
CC from France. My dog is doing quite well. He we got his little leg off, got him a few chemo treatments, and he is doing just as good as he was before. Minus one leg, you know.
Yeah, time will tell on the national debt, addressing that, but hopefully that's.
Are you kidding?
Huh?
Are you kidding?
No.
Okay, so how much debt is Trump signed into law?
This administration, or
You can answer either way. I'll know which one you're saying.
what do you do first? 8.1 billion or something, or trillion?
I think it was 8.6. I think.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I could be a little off, but yeah, we both know it's over 8.
Yeah, and then this one. I mean, what is it on the current budget? Is what, a couple trillion?
It's 4 point something, right? Because he's extending the TCJA tax cuts, which is that much.
Has he actually officially extended those?
Let's look it up.
I don't think so. I think they expire the end of this year. But I don't. Now, there may be a budget set aside for it, but I don't think it's been put into action yet. That's my understanding, anyways.
Do you think he should?
Do I think he should put it into?
Yeah, do you think he should extend them?
Well, that's a great question. I think he should get a read first on imports, exports, tariffs, to see how much of effect or how much we are bringing in from that, because based on that, we'll determine if he has to pay that down with some taxes, quite frankly. So I mean, I think he should.
You think he should extend the tax cuts, even though we know that it will increase the deficit based on it already having increased the deficit?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you keep a close eye on imports, exports, tariffs, things of that nature to see how much revenue that's driving.
Oh yeah. How much revenue is it driving so far?
I don't know the answer to that. That's literally the two questions I have month after month after month.
Okay. Yeah. How much is it so far?
I don't know. I haven't heard an answer from that. I don't know if anybody's asked that. I would be asking every single month, how much revenue have you gotten from the tariffs, and where's that money going towards? Do you know the answer to that? I don't know if anyone does. You there?
Huh?
Oh, yeah. Do you know the answer to that?
Sorry, the question is silly. How's the economy doing as a result of the tariffs?
I think it's doing decent.
Okay. How's the stock market doing as a result of the tariffs?
Stock market, I don't know if it's necessarily just the result of the tariffs, but stock market certainly had a rough, definitely a rough few days. And
you don't know if it's as a result of the tariffs?
I don't know if it's only the tariffs.
You don't know if every time tariffs are announced, the stock market crashing by trillions of dollars is a direct result of the tariffs? You're
correct.
not sure? You're just not sure?
Correct. Well, I think there's other factors.
You're not sure, even though corporations are clearly and openly saying that this is happening as a direct result of the tariffs?
Just because a business says that doesn't mean it's necessarily true. And again, I'm okay
just because
with
almost everybody says that doesn't make it true, economically speaking. Just because
Correct.
all economists are saying that doesn't make it true
That's a flat
economically.
out lie. That's a flat out lie.
Oh, sorry. All of the reasonable economists.
Can you give me the reasonable list? That'd be interesting.
Can you give me the reasonable list for you?
I'm not the one that made the claim that all economists are saying it and then back it up with
give me
all reasonable.
give me one example of somebody who's not saying that.
The person on the economics team in the White House.
Okay, yeah, so a loyalist to Trump, of course.
Okay, so a non-loyalist to Trump is saying that it's bad. Okay.
Yeah, non-loyalists are better in all cases than loyalists.
Not necessarily.
Absolutely. When you're unwilling, hold on. When you're unwilling to go against somebody specific, that's bad. In all cases.
And it's also bad in all cases if you're making a point to go after somebody you don't like.
Nobody's doing that.
That's bad. How do you know? Nobody's doing.
There are no examples of that happening.
Well, there's no examples of what you said either.
Being blindly loyal to Trump?
The economists that have said what they've said. And there's been several, by the way, even people not in the White House. I mean, there's been others.
Like?
I mean, those same economists that you quote are the same ones that were off on their prediction for inflation in February when we had the best inflation numbers since September, ironically enough, in Trump's first full month of presidency. Interesting.
Wow, how weird.
Yeah. But yet all the economists said that this is going to be inflation and all these tariffs. And yes, not all the tariffs were implemented that first month, but some were. And we still had the best readout in several months. Those, quote, expert economists got it wrong again.
So you realize that the economy was going in a good direction when Trump inherited the White House?
The stock market definitely was, yeah.
Okay. So that continuing for the goal here of 1 month is unexpected?
Well, I mean...
Nice.
I don't think it's expected or unexpected. I mean... If you talk to any financial person,
really?
Yeah, if you talk to
what
any
are you doing?
No, listen. If you talk to any financial person, which most liberals don't because they don't own stock, they just bitch about it. In fact, what's your largest holding?
I'm not going to discuss specifics of my holdings.
Because you don't have a holding, right?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, not a lot, but I do.
Sure, you do.
I do. Not a lot, but I do.
I'll take your word for it.
Coachy, we understand that you make more than $400,000 a year. You've said that lower and middle class Americans should starve live on my live.
Yes, correct. I'm retired. I don't need more. But that being said,
you're retired.
Just because
I'm retired.
Just because there's some fluctuation. I mean, so we had a correction. Ooh.
A correction. Okay.
Yeah, first correction we've had since Biden. Last correction.
Fair.
Well, I mean, were you just upset in 2022 when the stock market was down more under Biden than it has been so far this year?
Because of what?
Because of inflation.
Was that directly as a result of Biden's policies?
Certainly a part of it.
Oh, what policies did Biden pass that contributed to inflation and a decline in the general economy?
Bailouts. Stimuluses.
Okay. So then explain to me how he got inflation down from 9% at a high at the beginning of his term to 2.3% at a low at the end of his term. How did he do that with those bad policies?
Getting people back to work, getting people to spend less.
Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
Because of, and again, I mean, obviously the interest rates aren't his policies, but people started to spend less because of the Fed movement, things of that nature.
So good policies is how he got inflation from 9% at a high down to 2.3%.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, what policies did that? I mean, I'm not complaining about the effects where inflation ended up, but I don't know what policies he put into place to get them down there either. Do you?
Yeah, I know some of them.
Which ones do you think were the key ones?
I mean, the Chips and Science Act is fucking solid. Subsidizing companies to return manufacturing to the U.S. It's better than tariffs.
Well, I'm in full support of the Chips and Science Act, but I don't know if that had anything to do with current inflation numbers. I mean,
It absolutely did have something to do with it, yeah.
How so? That's investing in America for years to come.
Yes, and there were still years to come.
So what is that bill specifically done to bring down inflation?
It's literally returning chip manufacturing to the U.S.
So how much?
Are you of the opinion that bringing manufacturing back helps with inflation?
Yeah. So how many jobs and how much money has that brought to the United States? I mean, has anything even gone into effect yet on that?
Yes, things have gone into effect yet on that.
So do you have any idea how many jobs it's produced already?
What policies do you support of Trump's? We're here to talk about Trump. We're not here to talk about Biden, who wasn't even fucking running in this election.
Yeah, Trump actually beat the top two candidates. Isn't that amazing?
He barely beat Kamala. That's not very amazing.
Beat her by 40%.
He barely beat Kamala.
Yeah, by 40%.
When Kamala only had 100 days.
Yeah, by 40%. I mean, if you consider that barely, I mean, that's
Coachy, yeah. You're talking about electoral votes, right?
How do you win an election?
The electoral votes. But if you, Coachy, literally, do you know how you get electoral votes, Coachy? Do you know how you get electoral votes, or are you dense?
No, I know how you get electoral votes.
Explain it. Explain it for the class.
I mean, typically, ideally, the votes from the population, the electoral votes or the electorates will typically, they don't have to, but they most certainly...
They do every time.
Always do. Yeah. They vote that way.
Yes. So you win the popular vote per state is how you win the election.
What's that?
If you look at it on a deeper level, a level with just a tiny bit more nuance, I know the right fucking hates nuance, but just a little bit more nuance sprinkled on that little tidbit there that you thought was a gotcha that I went into willingly because it's not. You win by winning a majority of the popular vote in each state. Do you know how close that race was?
Yeah.
Amazingly close.
Yeah, but the electoral votes
the closest it's ever fucking been.
Yeah, but the electoral votes was approximately 40%.
Electoral.
I mean,
there's no.
It's cool. I'm sure when you watch football games and your team loses 50-0, I'm sure you say to your friends, "But we had only 4 yards less passing than them. We were
Coachy,
really close."
One second. Do you know how to answer anything, right? Like, what's 4 plus 4?
8. What's
nice.
6 plus 2?
Thank you for the compliment, bud. I'm so glad he knew I ate. He said it. He said I ate. I didn't say it. This wasn't my claim, chat. All right? If you haven't followed, do it. If you haven't joined the team by giving me the one little heart me gift that comes up after you follow in the same spot, you just have to tap it again. Do that too. Join my team. That's all I ask. It'll help you come back easier. Not again. How's it going?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to join. It was an accident.
You're absolutely fine. Good to have you. Good to have you. Love you. Thank you for joining the team. Lisa does politics. I'm giving you... That sounds like you should have a follow from me, too. All right. If you are MAGA, we don't have anybody in the box again. What the hell is going on? If you're MAGA, request. What are you doing? Why are you in the chat and not requesting? What is happening here? What is happening here? Coachy, I was not cooked, bud. I hate to break it to you. You didn't do very good. You never do. Find your sheep speech and share your pronouns. I'll invite you. We can talk about my pronouns. It is always a competition. That's life. That is life in capitalist America, actually. That is life. Kochi is crazy, dude. I've talked to Kochi a few times. I talked to Kochi a few times when I was first getting started last time I was building up, and like, just, man, once you say that middle and lower class Americans should starve as an actual opinion, I can't take you seriously anymore. You're done. I'll bring you up every once in a while as a laughing stock. Why'd I kick then? Because you said I ate. Like, where's it going to go from that? Where can we go from that? You said I ate. I don't know what to tell you, bud. If nobody else is coming up here, I could probably kick it at an hour. That's probably fine. I took a little bit of time off, so our numbers are a little lower just because that's how it works. I took about a week off. We currently have a sub goal of 20. I am trying to do this more regularly, so if you do want to sub, we know that TikTok will at least be around for 75 more days now. Well, 73, 2, something like that now. So anyway, you will actually get a month out of it. So I am encouraging people to sub at this point and join the community. I am building a Discord, so there isn't an active link in my bio, but there will be shortly, so check back in like 10 minutes. I will make sure to update that. And yeah, Trumpers have very sensitive, emotionally inflated, fragile egos. It's true. So true. Majority. Somebody just said majority kiss. What does that mean? What does that mean? Majority. That's another good quote of the day. Actually, my quote of the day at this point, just so chat knows, my quote of the day for this entire live was, "The world is possible." Okay. I don't know what you're trying to say with that. Thank you. Who was that? I don't see it. Lynn, thank you for joining the team. Okay, we're probably gonna call it quits unless somebody comes up in the next 30 seconds. In the meantime, I just want to say I love you all. Actually, I do love you all, even Kochi, who is advocating for the actual genocide of the poor. Love you. I just think you're very, very misguided, and you're not going to get any better. You're just not, because it's willful. It's unfortunate. Kind of keeps me up at night. I'm worrying about you, bud. You need to do better. So I will be back. I'll probably be back on a little later. I can do probably 10 to midnight. So if you do want to come back, I'll be here. And in the meantime, stay golden. All right. That's all I want to see of anyone. Just stay golden. And I'll see y'all later.